Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ken, and today I'm here to do a review of this 1/400 scale Airbus A321neo XLR from NG Models. And before I get started, I have to say that this is another very nice and gorgeous model from NG. So, like always, I'll start with the box. So here is the front of the box, and also, as always, NG has done a very nice job with box art. Right, so here is the bottom, the right side, the top, the left side, and then the back. And you can pause to read everything back here if you want, and if not, then that's alright. Alright, so now it's back to the front. Okay, so now on to the main star of the video, which is the model herself. And let's see, so here she is in all of her glory, in her plastic cocoon. And I'll just leave the model here for a moment while I go take the rewards card out. And here it is. So this is the rewards card that NG now has with every model, and you can pause to read that if you want. Alright, so with that said, I'll just get the model into position, and as always, I like to take the models out with the bottom part facing up because it's just easier for me to take the models out that way. Alright, and while I have the model here in this position, I'll do a quick landing gear check just to make sure everything's alright, even though I don't roll my models around it, and I don't recommend that you do that either, but that's just my opinion. So alright, so and this is nice and smooth. This one's also nice and smooth, and this one is also nice and smooth. So all three sets of landing gear are in check. Alright, so now I'll just take the model out and turn her right side up. And here she is. And as I said earlier, this is another gorgeous model from NG, and I think NG has done a very nice job with this model. Alright, so now I'll just be quiet for a moment while I turn the model around so that you guys can take a better look at her. Alright, and something I just noticed is that the model rolls really nice and smooth. So yeah, if you're into that stuff, this model has some nice rolling movement to it. Alright, so now let's get on with the review. Alright, so as always, I'll start off at the front. So, not sure if you can see that. There's the nose cone, the very forward standing port right there at the nose. There's the cockpit windows, and the windshield wipers are covered up by the raccoon mask around the cockpit windows, but I really like the look of the raccoon mask around the cockpit windows. Alright, so there are some more sensors and pitot tubes right there under the cockpit windows, along the underside of the forward fuselage. And then there's the front landing gear, the front landing gear doors, the L1 door, and then the forward top antenna, and then there is a red beacon right there, and then the forwardmost windows along the forward part of the fuselage. And then of course there's the Airbus A321 XLR titles. Alright guys, sorry about that, the video cut out, but anyways, I was here with the Airbus A321 XLR titles, and then here is the Statue of Liberty. Unfortunately, there are no runway landing light markings here on the wings, but it's still a nice model regardless. Alright, so now moving on to the middle of the fuselage, there is the Flying Extra Long Range tunnels on the top part of the middle fuselage, as well as the two overwing emergency exit doors, and then of course the overwing exit markings on the left wing. And then there is the top anti-collision beacon right there. Alright, so now moving on, here's a look at the left engine, which is very nice. And then of course a look inside of the left engine, and then there are the two engine strakes. And then moving on to the top part of the left wing, there are some nice printed and molded details here. It's very nice. And then of course there is the left wingtip or sharklet, and then the left side navigation light. Alright, so now moving on to the rear of the model, there is another emergency exit, which is very nice and detailed. And then there is one of the rear antennas, and then of course the rear windows along the rear part of the fuselage. And then there is the Coliseum with Rome right there. And then there is the registration, which on this model is F-W XLR, or Foxtrot-Whiskey X-Ray Lima Romeo. And then there is the rearmost antenna on top of the rear part of the fuselage. And then here is the A321neo tail with the neo tunnels right there on the vertical stabilizer, as well as the L2 door, and then here is a view of the top part of the two horizontal stabilizers, which is very nice and detailed. A lot of printed and molded details. And then at the very rear of the model is the APU. Alright, so now moving on to the right side of the model, it's pretty much the same as the left side, with the exception of the rear cargo door as well as the luggage door, and then the forward cargo door, and then the two landmarks here, the Taj Mahal and Big Ben, with London, New Delhi. And then other than that, everything is pretty much the same. So here are the neo tunnels on the vertical stabilizer, the right side. Yeah, very nice. There is the R2 door, the two rear antennas right there, the registration, which again is F-W XLR, or Foxtrot Whiskey X-Ray Lima Romeo. As mentioned before, there is Big Ben with London, the emergency exit door behind the right wing, flying extra long range on the top part of the middle of the fuselage, the top anti-collision beacon, the two overwing exits on the right side, the overwing exit markings on the right wing, then a view of the top part of the right wing. There is the right winglet or sharklet, and then the right side navigation light. Then I forgot to mention the inside part of the winglet, and that's the same for both sides. Right, so now here is the right engine, which looks very nice and detailed. Then look inside of the right engine. Alright, so now moving on to the forward part of the model. Here are the Airbus A321 XLR tunnels, the forwardmost windows along the forward fuselage. Then, as mentioned before, there is the Taj Mahal with New Delhi, the forward cargo door. Then there is the forward top antenna, and then some more beacons right here. Then there is the R1 door. Then some pino tubes, sensors, and static ports at the very front of the model, as well as the nose cone, cockpit windows, and then the raccoon mask. Right, and then there is the front landing gear. Alright, so now let's move on to the top view of the model, which looks very nice. Very nice and detailed model. Alright, so now here is a bottom view of the model, and here up at the front there's a lot of printed details, such as, of course, the nose cone, the bottom portion of the nose cone, and then the front landing gear doors, some more beacons and sensors, the forward cargo door. Right, and then you can kind of see the printed details for the air intakes for the bleed air system, and then there is the printed detail for the emergency backup generator. Then there is the Airbus A321 XLR tunnels on the underside, in between the main landing gear. And then, of course, there are the two main landing gear, as well as the bottom anti-collision beacon. The underside of the two wings have very nice molded details, and the underside of the two engines have some nice molded and printed details, and then the underside of the left wing has the registration, which again is F-W XLR, or Foxtrot Whiskey X-Ray Lima Romeo. Alright, so you can kind of see the printed details for the main landing gear doors. Alright, so now moving on to the very rear of the underside of the model, there is the rear underside antenna. Right, never mind. And then some more printed details on the rear. And then looking at the underside of the two horizontal stabilizers, there are a lot of molded details there. And then, of course, the APU housing doors, and then the APU itself. So, alright, overall, very nice model. And before I end the video, of course, I'll do another final spin of the model so that you guys can take a final look at her. And I have to say that I highly recommend this model if you can still find it, and I'm sure you can if you know where to look. Alright, so with that said, I'll just do a final turn of the model so that you guys can take one final look at her. Alright, so that pretty much is the end of this video, and as always, stay safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.